All right. So like I said, we're starting off from this point that we left off yesterday. Okay, we're taking these big block letters and now we want to turn them three-dimensional. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a technique that's called 2-point perspective. And I'm surprised I could spell that correctly. There we go. Kind of dumb. Okay, so I'm going to start off the same way I started with these letters, with some lines and some spaces. Okay, but the way we get those lines and spaces is completely different than just drawing a straight line. Okay, so what we're going to do when we're doing 2-point perspective, we're actually going to use 2 points. It's called that for a reason. Okay, the first step we're only going to use one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a point somewhere along the side of my paper. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is my bottom line and my top line are going to move towards that point. So when you're using 2-point perspective, all of your horizontal lines are going to go to one of the 2 points. Okay? So anything that's horizontal, like these lines, okay, the top of each letter, the middle of the H, those are going to go to a point on either side of the paper. But your vertical lines stay vertical. Okay? Those don't go to a crazy point. That stays the same. That part of the process is exactly the same. Okay? So what I'm going to do, instead of just drawing a flat line here for the bottom of my letters, I'm actually going to draw a line to that point. Okay, so it should be pretty straight. Try to do the best you can. And try to have it go right to that point. Okay? Now the top of my letters are horizontal as well, so I'm going to do those coming from the point as well. Okay? So what do you notice about this already? It's a triangle, which means my letters are going to get smaller as they come over here, right? Why do you think that is? Connor, what do you think?
Less space.
Less space? They're going to look like they're further away, right? So if a car starts right here and drives off away from you, it's going to look like it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So your letters should get smaller and smaller and smaller. They'll look more 3D that way. They'll look like they're getting way far away from you. Okay? So my horizontal lines go to my point. Okay, so now I need vertical lines. Your vertical lines have to stay perfectly vertical. If you start slanting them or making them diagonal, it gets really messed up really quickly. Okay? So I'm going to draw this line as vertical as I can make it. Okay? I'm going to get rid of these extra bits on the side. Okay, can you guys see that all right up there? Or do I need to draw darker? It's okay? Cool. So, okay, good, thank you. So now, what I have to do is I need to find pretty close to the center of this line. So it's going to be right about here. And I'm going to draw that line through. So yesterday, I told you that this line, remember I talked about the H's? I said that this line could be in the middle, it could be higher, it could be low. For this part of the process, it has to go perfectly down the center. Okay? So you want that line to be right down the center. Okay? So here comes the cool part. Okay, I'm going to make all my spaces get smaller and smaller and smaller as they get further away from me. Okay? So my first letter, I can make it whatever size I want to, but I have to stay perfectly vertical. Okay? So I'm going to draw this line. And that's going to be my first space for my first letter. So if I'm writing my last name, my T will go right here. Now, in order to get my next letter, I have to do a certain technique because this letter is further away than this letter, right? It's getting further away. It's three-dimensional. So I'm going to go from this corner right here, and this middle line serves a purpose. I'm going to draw a line straight through there, and I'm going to end up at my top line. So my next space is going to start right here. Okay? That's how I know how big to make the next one. Okay? So then I can get rid of this line. Please draw lightly when you're doing those because obviously you're going to get rid of them eventually. Okay? So now I need my next one. And now I have this new shape here, this new space. I'm going to start in this new corner to go through this new corner. And I'm going to draw as straight as I can to get to right there. Okay? So that's going to be my next space. See how they're getting gradually smaller as I go?
Yeah.
as long as you follow this. Thanks for your participation today. That was very nice. That was a very solid yes. Okay, they're getting gradually smaller. So again, corner, intersection, straight line. This one should be smaller than the one before it. It is going to be totally natural for all of you to start drawing these lines crooked. Okay, everybody does that on their first try. Try not to, but it's okay if you do. You just have to redraw them. Okay, so my last name has 5 spaces. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more. Okay, so this corner, that intersection, each time I move over to the next one. And that last space is going to be right there. Okay, so now I already showed you yesterday how to think about the letters. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go through here pretty quickly and put my letters in. Okay, remember, any horizontal line goes to that point. Okay, so if I have my T here, the top part to the point, this to the point, this to the point, and this to the point. Okay, vertical lines stay vertical. Okay, so this is going to be the top of my T. It's going to that point. My next one is going to go towards that point. Okay, and then my vertical lines, find my center here. My vertical lines stay vertical. Okay, so that letter is going to start looking three-dimensional, hopefully. Okay, this bottom line to the point. Stay with me. Okay, a couple more minutes. I'm going to go through these letters pretty quickly. Okay, vertical line on my H. Stays vertical. Stays vertical. Okay, the inside part of the H stays vertical. Stays vertical. Also, what I'm doing, if you notice, this first letter is pretty wide, right? I made this pretty thick. My next one is going to be a little less. The next one is going to be a little less. And they're going to get skinnier as they get further away, right? Because everything gets smaller the further it gets away. Okay? My 2 center lines on my H are going to go to that point. Okay? Right? So it looks like it's getting further away. Do my O real quick. I would normally take a lot more time and make these a lot neater, but I want to make sure you guys have plenty of time to do this. So again, I want this part of the O to be slightly skinnier than that one, and then this side of the O to be slightly skinnier than the other one. Okay, L, vertical line stays vertical, vertical line stays vertical, horizontal line goes to the point, horizontal line goes to the point. Okay, vertical line stays vertical, vertical line stays vertical, horizontal to the point, horizontal to the point, vertical, vertical to the point. Okay, so you can see that those letters look like they're getting further away, and they look like they're being a little more three-dimensional. Okay, so the 2 point, I'm going to add another point over here. Okay, and I'm going to use that side to go like this for the backs of these letters. Okay, so all of these are going to go to that point, and then it's going to end up looking three-dimensional. But we'll talk about that step later. Okay? It's wizardry, right? Okay? So, let me tell you guys something real quick. Drawing is not hard, okay? I didn't exert any energy to do this. All I did was I used a trick that I know in my head to do this. It's not difficult. As long as you know the tricks and you follow the steps one by one, drawing is really pretty simple, as long as you just follow the right steps, okay? A lot of you think just watching this come together, you didn't think it looked hard until the very end, until you saw what it could do, right? You didn't think it was difficult until you saw how cool it looks at the end, right? It's super simple as long as you follow the steps, okay? Okay. So I'll stop this.